Welcome to In the Green, the podcast based on the intersection between life, finance, and the pursuit of breaking par. I am your host, Ryan Briggs with GFG Wealth Advisors. Time to tee off. Welcome back to the In the Green podcast. We are joined today with Dr. Jason Allen. Jason, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for coming on board.
Yeah.
We are excited. Jason has a new book out called Be the Successor, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about his background, talk about the book today, and just share some good information with the audience, right? No point not jumping right in. So you are the owner of Proactive Chiropractic,
Correct.
Right, as well as some other businesses.
Yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, how you became, a chiropractor, and the businesses that you do have.
Yep. Originally, I'm from Bryan. Graduated in 2000, and I had left. Went up to Missouri on a wrestling scholarship. I was up there in the Midwest for about 15 years.
Okay.
During that time, after undergrad, I started personal training, and then realized in rural Missouri that nobody has disposable income, so we had to find another place to go.
No
so
doubt.
I ended up just Googling who had the highest income per capita, and it was a county in Kansas City. So I moved over there, didn't know anybody.
What an interesting way to do that. That's smart, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I knew people had to have money, so
Of course.
that's where we're going to go. I went over there, didn't know anybody. I started working in a gym, and then opened up my own personal training business where I was doing in-home training. And that was
Okay.
kind of my first stab at owning a business.
Nice. Did you have a gym at the same time, or did you only do it in people's houses?
I just did it in people's houses, so I didn't have to worry about the overhead and
Yeah.
all of that. So it kind of got my feet wet in the business aspect of things.
Awesome. I've never heard of anybody just Googling, most disposable income per
Yeah.
capita. That's thinking outside of the box, I
Yeah.
guess. It seems like, why wouldn't you just do that, right?
Yeah.
Seems logical. So.
So I went over there, didn't know anybody, and I was training for a couple of years there. And the hours were, I'm up at 4:30. I'm training people 5:30 in the morning, and then during that traditional 9 to 5, everybody's working, so it's kind of spotty. I get my workout in, I take a nap or whatever, and then I train people until 9 at night. Never get to see my family, anything like that. So it was pretty rough.
Yeah, that's how a lot of us start when we're, just beginning. The hours are just insane, and they're not conducive to family life.
Right. And so that led me into chiropractic. I figured that was a good transition. I implemented a lot of my training into my practice. So went into school there. I applied, toured the school, loved it, got in, and then that was it.
Awesome. So you go to school, you graduate. What brings you to College Station? What brings you back?
I had a good network here.
Okay.
So I knew that it was good to open up a business and just really bring people in.
Awesome. So you've branched out from just being a chiropractor, right? You are a full-fledged entrepreneur, business owner. Tell us a little bit about that. What else do you have going on in town?
We just we just bought out a Hotworks franchise last year.
Okay.
We're actually in the process of franchising out Proactive, so we're looking at multiple locations on that as well.
Awesome. And if you live in College Station and you're listening to us, that's the one at Tower Point, correct?
The
No,
Hotworks.
or you're the one in Bryan.
We're the one in Bryan by the
Bryan.
Physician Center.
Okay, very cool. So what I really want to get to today is I'm super proud of you for writing a book. Everybody talks about writing a book. Everybody wants to do it. Nobody, I say nobody, very few people actually sit down and get it done. And because, it's a long process, right?
It took forever.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. So tell me a little bit about the genesis of the book. You have all these great ideas. You want to get them on paper. What was kind of the breakover point where you said, you know what, I'm screwed, I'm doing this?
Well, the whole objective of the book was throughout my 20s, I messed around and enjoyed the social life and going out and stuff.
Don't we
and I
all?
created a lot of unnecessary hardships for myself that I had
Okay.
to dig myself out of. And so the objective of the book is to prevent new entrepreneurs from going through those same hardships as well.
Sure.
Okay. And I found myself, whenever I was personal training, that I started analyzing people's shopping carts in there, and
I remember reading this in the book.
Yeah, in the grocery line, and I was like, I wonder what decisions they make in their everyday life that caused them to shop the way that they do. And that just started to evolve. And, eventually, like, you are the shopping cart. What are you investing in yourself that makes you what you are today or what you're not today? And that was my first thought or my first idea for the book. And it's actually been the most well-received chapter that I've had so far.
Yeah, and you put it at the very forefront to kind of set the
It's like chapter 2. It was supposed to be chapter 1, and then my editor went in and chopped up everything that I had in that first chapter, and she created a first chapter. I'm like, now I have to write another thing.
Yeah.
So,
the editing process can be a little bit brutal. You think you're handed over your baby.
Yeah, you're very vulnerable in that situation.
Right? But that's what they do.
Yep. And it turned out well, and that the mindset chapter right at the beginning turned out great. So
I would agree. All right, so somebody's picked up your book. They've gone through it. They're digesting all the information. It's 6 months later after they've finished the book. If you could have 3 things in your book that are massive sticking points that they're just going to remember for years to come, kind of walk us through that. What are some 3 main points that you would want somebody just to carry with them and not just think about for a while and forget?
Well, I mean, everything's pretty simple, just basic concepts. And I feel like everything that we learn these days, we're not learning a whole lot of new stuff. We're just building on old concepts. And one of those being the shopping cart chapter is decision making. Like every decision that you make directly reflects, where you are later on in life and what you're going to do later in life. Another thing is to, especially in this day and age with social media and so much spotlight on athletes and celebrities, you see just the glam of everything.
Yeah.
And nobody sees the hard work. So there's a lot of, depression and anxiety that come from that because they're not, keeping up with the Joneses. But people have to realize that flowers don't bloom year round.
Right.
There's a lot of hard work that goes into that. The watering and the sunlight and everything. But, when we're talking about us, like putting time in the gym, looking at film or studying or whatever, like these are the things that we invest into ourselves that make us better and then put us in that spotlight.
And you're only putting the best stuff on social media.
Right.
You're getting out of the gym at midnight because you worked all day and you're just covered in drenched in sweat and you just want to go to bed and take a shower, right?
Yeah, you want to get home.
You don't post that kind of stuff.
Get showered, put your filter on or whatever, and then put it out there.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting world we live in, and you really have to be careful with yourself because it's easy. We live in a world of comparison, right?
Yep.
And it's just hard not to do that. And it's just with how things operate and how you do marketing for your entrepreneurship business, whatever it may be. You're on social media, and you're just going to see it. So.
And I would say the last thing is find a mentor. I mean,
Yeah.
mentorship is huge.
Could not agree with you more.
And like if you're trying to navigate through everything on your own, you're going to hit those potholes a lot more frequently than if you have somebody that's guiding the way.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. We actually did an episode previous to this about mentorship, and actually went and recorded with my mentor, Chris Rowe, out at Whispering Pines, and I would have had a lot more lumps on my head if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
Right? He put a few of them on there, but
That's just to keep you straight.
That's exactly right, and I really, really appreciate all the work that he's done. But I will echo that to the rooftops of you've got to have people in your corner.
Yeah.
I've loved what the ideas that you've put in there. They're fantastic, and I'm glad that you took the time to sit down. And as well as you're juggling your chiropractor business, you're juggling being an entrepreneur, and then you're writing a book on the side. I can see why it might have taken a minute, right?
Yep.
Finding time here or there. But I'm glad that you had the stick-to-itiveness to get through it and get this out to the world.
Yeah, it was, I don't want to say frustrating, but it was a lot easier in the beginning when we were slow in the office. It was like, okay, I got a lot more free time that I can block off,
Sure.
Go out and write. But as we got busier, I'm just like, I don't have the time or the energy just to crank out content that people are going to want to read. And I don't want to put fluff in there, so.
Yeah. That's the other part of, all the media and the marketing as well is, stuff just takes time.
Yep.
It takes time. There's only 24 hours in a day, and you got, family and kids, and it's hard to juggle. So, but no, you've done a tremendous job. I've really enjoyed what you put out there. Let's talk about where to find your book.
Right now it's just on Amazon.
Okay.
We have the hardback, paperback, or ebook on Amazon, and then we'll be recording the audiobook this summer.
Fantastic. Now, are you going to do the narration on the audiobook, or did you get Morgan Freeman to come do it?
I wish.
That'd
That'd
be
be awesome.
That would be sweet.
Was it like Matthew McConaughey or somebody? That would be cool.
That'd be a fun
I'm
thing
going to try to do it on my own.
Okay.
They were telling me about an AI platform where you do like 3 or 4 of the passages, and it captures your voice, and it just records the whole thing.
No kidding.
Yeah. So,
Man.
and I think you can go in and like edit the inflections and stuff in your voice in certain parts, and
That's unbelievable. AI is really the new frontier, and that's awesome that you're using it. I mean, that's going to save you days if it works right.
I'm such a slow reader. It's going to save me a long time.
Well, and I remember I did a voiceover for a product that we were going to send to market, and I was doing about a 20-minute video kind of behind the scenes of narrating what's going on with this product. It took me like an entire day to get it done, because when you're reading on a script and you got a microphone in front of you, I just forget how to talk. It's incredible. So
Well, that was my concern, is just being fluid all the way through and getting it word for word.
yeah,
So
it's weird. It's not conversational style when you're talking into a microphone.
right,
But
and that's what the book is everybody's told me that it's got a very conversational tone, and I knew if I was reading it, it was just going to be very
yeah.
monotonous and
Yeah, it sounds great here, but I've got a robot talking to me over here.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, good. No, I'm sure you're going to do great with it. I really appreciate you stopping by. I wish you the best. Please go check out Be the Successor by Dr. Jason Allen on Amazon. I picked it up for my Kindle, and that's where I read it on, and it was all digital, seamless, and it was a lot of fun. So really enjoyed it. But hey,
Excellent.
Great to see you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, best of luck to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening to our episode today. Make sure to like, share, and download our episodes wherever you get your podcasts, and we'd really appreciate a review. Hope to see you in the 19th hole. Content here is for illustrative purposes and general information only. It is not legal, tax, or individualized finance advice, nor is it a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any specific security or engage in any specific trading strategy. Results will vary. Past performance is no indication of future results or success. Market conditions change continuously. This commentary reflects the personal opinions, viewpoints, and analysis of GFG Wealth Advisors. It does not necessarily represent those of RFG Advisory, Private Client Services, or their clients or their employees. This commentary should not be regarded as a description of advisory services provided by GFG Wealth Advisors or RFG Advisory, or performance returns of any client. The views reflected in the commentary are subject to change at any time without notice. Securities offered by registered representatives of Private Client Services, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services are offered by investment advisory representatives of RFG Advisory, a registered investment advisor. Private Client Services, GFG Wealth Advisors, and RFG Advisory are unaffiliated entities. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where RFG Advisory and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. No advisory services may be rendered by RFG Advisory unless a client agreement is in place.